Now to a story parents will want to hear. Public school leaders in D.C. say more than 30% of their employees have expired background checks. Evan Kozlov is live outside Capitol Hill Montessori School with how a sexual abuse case actually led to this discovery.
Well, hey there, Reese. Yeah, that allegation dates back to June. That's when it first became public. A contracted employee was arrested and charged for abusing a 13-year-old. Then DCPS learned something else. He didn't have an up-to-date background check.
This was the release by DC Police back on June 12th. 21-year-old Justin Hickman was charged with second-degree child sex abuse, accused of kissing and fondling a 13-year-old between January and May. He was employed by a company called Springboard Education, which runs before and after school programs on 8 DC campuses. DCPS would soon learn that Springboard did not conduct a proper background check. This is what started the internal review. Now, 2 months later, we have the results. 30% of DCPS employees have lapsed background checks.
Good morning.
Chancellor Louis Farabee says they're not taking action. By the start of the school year, he promises that all of the after-school employees will get background checks. And by the end of September, every DCPS employee will have one done as well.
All right, important note here, a lapsed background check doesn't mean no background check. And Farabee's quick to explain this, saying that when hired, they did all get a background check and fingerprints, but obviously more needs to be done, and he's promising that it will be done. Reese, back to you.